This is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue the Iliad by Homer. I'm going to continue to read. Now, when Zeus, who arrays the cloud, saw Hector from afar, strapping on the gear of Peleus, godlike son, he shook his head and addressed his own deep heart. Poor soldier, never a thought of death weighs down your spirit now, yet death is right beside you. You, down the deathless arms of great fighter, and all other fighters tremble before him. True, but you killed his comrade, gentle, strong, and against all rights you ripped the immortal armor off his head and shoulders, so great power for the moment. I will grant you to compensate for all that is to come. Never again will you return from battle, Hector, nor will Andromache take that famous armor, Achilles' deathless armor, from your hands. So he decreed, and the son of Cronus bowed his craggy dark brows. Zeus fitted the armor tightly on Hector's body, and Ares surged in his heart with awesome force, filling his limbs with power and fighting strength, and on he strode amidst his illusions. Trojan allies, calling out with wild cries, now flashing before them all in the gleaming battle gear of great-hearted Achilles. He ranged their ranks, inspiriting every captain, commanding Methyles, Glaucus, Medon, Thersilochus, Asteropaeus, Decenor, Hippothous, Phorcys, Chromius, and Nomus too, who could read the flight of birds. Hector drove them on with winged order. Hear me, numberless tribes of allies living around our borders. I neither sought nor needed enormous hordes of men that day I called you here, each from your own city. When I needed was men to shield our helpless children, fighting men to defend our children's women, all out against these savage Argives. That goal in mind, I bleed my own people for gifts and food, so I can build your courage, each and every man. So now each of you turn straight for the enemy. Live or die, that is the lovely give and take of war. That man who drags Patroclus back to Trojan charioteers, dead as Patroclus is, and makes great Ajax yield. To him I will give one half the bloody spoils. Keep half for myself, his glory will equal mine. Strong vow, and they bore straight down on the Argives full force, shaking their spears, their hearts fired with hopes of dragging Patroclus' body out from under Ajax. Fools, over the corpse he'd cut down crowds of men, though now at his point Ajax warned Meneclus, lord of the battle cry, old friend, my prince, I lose hope that we alone, on our own power, can make it back from the fighting. I not only fear for our comrade's body. Patroclus will gloat the dogs and birds of Troy, and all too soon, but I fear of my own head, for my own life, and yours too, Meneclus. Look at this cloud of war that blots out all the field. This Hector, this headlong death had stared us in the face. Quick, call to the chiefs if one can hear you now. At that, the prince of the battle cry complied with a high piercing shout that reached all troops. Friends, lords of the Argives, O my captains, all who joined the Atridae, Agamemnon and Menelaus, who drink wine at the king's expense and hold command of your own troops. Your rank and fame from Zeus, impossible now to pick you out. My captains, man by man, the battle blazes up so widely. Forward, each on his own, you'll die for shame, if the dogs of Ilium make Patroclus' reaping spot. And the quick, oiling Ajax heard him clearly, first on the run along the fighting front to meet him, Idomeneus after him, and Idomeneus' good aid, Meriones, a match for the virtuous god of war. For the rest who followed, waking Achilles' war lust, what man had spirit strong enough to sing their names? Down in the mass the children pounded. Hector let them in, charging in as a heavy surf mars in against the trip. At the river's mouth, swelled with rains from Zeus, and on either side the jutting headlands below back, at the booming sea with matching thunder, in they come, the Trojans, rowing in, but the Argives face them, standing fast in a ring around Patroclus, one fury seizing their hearts, packing a war bronze shield, and round about their glittering crested helmets. Now the son of Cronus spread a dense, deepened mist. He had never hated Menelaus' son in the past, while he was alive and still Achilles' aid, but now the father loathed to see him prey to choice marauders and ravening dogs of Troy, so he drove his comrade on to shield his corpse. At first the children could ram the Argives back, and they abandoned the corpse. Their fury-eyed battalions fled away in panic, but still the breakneck children, up in arms as they were, killed off none of the Argives with their spears. Instead they began to drag away Patroclus' corpse, but not for long would his comrade give him up. In a swift maneuver, Ajax wheeled them round, Ajax greatest in build, greatest in works of war of all the Argives after Pelos, matchless son. Right through the front he plowed like a wild boar, ramping in power up on the high mountain ridges, scattering dogs and reckless hunters at one charge. When he wheeled at bay and drive them down the glebes. So now the son of noble Telamon, dauntless Ajax, scattered the massing Trojan packs at a charge, all who bestrode Patroclus now, high with hopes of dragging him back to Troy to win the glory. Trying hardest, Hippothous out for fame. Pelasgian, Letheus' son, lashing a shield strip round the ankle tendon, was hauled Patroclus' foot first through the Malium, hoping to please Prince Hector and all the Trojans. Hippothous rushing on, but death came just as fast. No Trojans could save him now, strain as they might. Ajax, son of Telamon, charging quickly into the carnage, speared him at close range through the bronze-cheeked helmet. The horsehair crest cracked wide open around the point, smashed by the massive spear and hand that drove it. I'm going to stop here today and continue next time. Thank you for watching.